Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Evan Here's Culture campaign, and today we've got on yet another magnificent guest. She is the pride of the Midwest. She is a professional musician. She is a worship leader. Yes, and
but yeah.
Yes, it is the great Rebekah Martin. Rebekah, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. I feel so honored to be on the great Evan Phillips show.
Today, on the Evan Here's Culture campaign, we're talking about an album that came out in 2010, The National's High Violet. Now, you might be thinking, all you diehard fans who really pay attention might be thinking, wait a minute, High Violet? Didn't he just do this? Wasn't this the very last episode that happened? Well, that's correct. That episode was recorded. It came out. But then Rebekah, the great Rebekah Martin, who is beside me, is mentioned in the comments that she was a big fan of The National. And I thought, man, I was kind of unsatisfied with how that last episode came out. Anyway, let's get Rebekah on the show to talk about The National. Are you excited, Rebekah?
I am super excited. Yeah, because you kind of trashed on The National on the last one. And so I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was also why I was a bit unsatisfied. I was like, this came out more negative than I intended it, because I enjoy the album. So The National, Rebekah, how did you find out about The National?
So I found out about them in college. So a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, my ex-boyfriend actually introduced me to them. And I listened to them a lot, and then I kind of took a break because I don't know, you just change what you listen to. And then weirdly enough, like January, I was like, man, I forget about how good The National is. And I've been listening to them a lot more. And then they were on Taylor Swift's last album, which I had listened to because everyone couldn't shut up about it.
Well, not that one, but
Evermore. That's true.
Folklore, Grammy Award winning.
Yeah, we'll see. Evermore will probably be nominated next year. And then your video came out, and I was like, gosh, I can't get away from this.
When you first got into The National, what was the most recent album, or was it a more holistic? You were looking at all of the songs that The National had put out in the past?
When I first got into it, it was more like specific songs. So I think I told you this. I actually am more familiar with their following album. I think it came out in 2013, Trouble Will Find Me. But I had really grabbed on to a few of them. And then it wasn't until kind of when I revisited them that I started listening to a lot more of their music. And I was just reading an article from one of their musicians where they were talking about how they're like, yeah, we know we're not the most like out and grab you in your face kind of music. Like it doesn't immediately grab you, but you kind of sit with it for a while and it slowly like builds on you. And that's pretty much, exactly what happened to me.
I would say that is a fairly accurate description. It's definitely not. And I think I mentioned this in the original episode, was that it's not in your face. It's not hooky in a traditional sense. It is a mellow sort of somber vibe that you get enveloped in, you get washed up in. So High Violet and washed up, there's a watery quality to the music, I would say.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I don't know what I mean by that in the sense, but I don't know, it feels washed out, I suppose. The waves on the lake.
It has almost like a kind of like monotonous, but almost like it kind of transfixes you. It feels just like you just sort of get into like a haze as you're listening to it almost.
Yes, the wonderful haze of The National.
Yes.
So, High Violet, I know you're more of a Trouble Will Find Me. Is that what it's called? Trouble Will? I listened to it today. Fan, but High Violet, what are your thoughts on High Violet?
On High Violet. So I like favorite songs or overall vibe.
Yeah.
So for me, I really love Anyone's Ghost. I don't know. Again, there's like these songs that I'm like, I don't even really know if I can nail down the specific thing that really grabs me about them. I think with that, it's more the lyricism, like just the overall feel of, I don't want to be anyone's ghost either, I guess.
your ghost. Didn't
Yeah.
wanna be anyone's ghost.
Perfect. You should do a cover album.
I think I could very easily pull out a cover album.
I think you could. It'd be cool.
The National. I shouldn't, but I think if there was any band that I might be able to pull this thing off, it might be. They wouldn't be inventive covers. They wouldn't be transformative in any sense.
They'd be really true to the originals.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. There would be a real fidelity to what has come before. It wouldn't be. I'm trying to bend the National to fit into the Evan Phillips sound. Because there isn't such a thing that exists.
Well, there is.
A pale imitation of the National. Well, maybe not as pale. There might be a little rose in the cheeks. But it wouldn't be so pale. So anyone's ghost.
That's funny. Yeah. I also really love Lemon World. That's one of those songs. That one and what's it called? Buzz in Ohio or something like that.
Blood Buzz Ohio, which is the
Blood Buzz Ohio.
That's the masterpiece in my opinion.
Those two I really love, and they do this in a lot of their songs. I love the way that they have kind of this like almost absurdism in some of their lyrics that feels, and it's so confidently stated. They'll just say things that you're like, what? But it's so confidently stated that I feel like you really get the emotion underneath it. So I was thinking about this today, and it might just be because I'm rewatching a lot of sci-fi shows. But it reminds me of kind of the way that like fantasy and sci-fi shows will tackle really absurd topics, but it almost elevates the emotion underneath them and makes it feel more relatable. I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
that's kind of how I feel.
There is a sort of, I wouldn't say surreal. Surreal might be pushing it, but there definitely is an abstraction in the Nationals lyrics.
Yeah.
Of like terrible love. You know, it's I'm walking with spiders. What does that mean? What does it mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Walking with spiders. Lemon World. Lemon World's a good example of one that did not grab me initially when I first listened to it because I was Blood Buzz. I was coming off the high.
Yeah.
Blood Buzz, and then Lemon World comes in. I'm like, what's a lemon world? Who you and your sister live in a lemon? What does that even mean? I don't care about this one. And then when before giving it the whole album another full listen, I was like, I kind of want to listen to Lemon World again. And then Lemon World.
What it does.
One of the standouts. What is a lemon world, Rebekah? You and your sister live in a lemon world. What could that be?
I guess I think it's kind of up to interpretation. I guess my initial instinct is that it's a very like sunny, sweet, kind of summery, like happy-go-lucky world that like you live in this kind of like not real, like everything's easy for you and like you don't have to worry about the worries I have, and sounds great, but that's not what I experienced. That was kind of my initial thought, but I might be wrong.
You and your sister live in a lemon world. I want to sit here and die. So that could make sense. Is that they're on opposite poles of the spectrum.
Spectrum, yeah, exactly.
Not lemon world, and then the lemon world. But lemons are sour.
True.
Oh, are lemons sweet? It's hard to.
I mean, I love lemon. I love lemons, so I love lemon flavored things. So
lemon world.
I'm all in. Sounds great to me.
That hooked you right there, but not hooked because we don't associate the National
exactly with hooks.
Mm-hmm. Back straight. Blood Buzz. I mean, I that definitely is a standout. But let's see, what does that mean? Carried to Ohio on a swarm of bees? Yeah.
I don't know. But I didn't get married, but Ohio doesn't remember me. And you're like, does Ohio only care about married people? I don't
have memories. I mean, potentially. That wouldn't be surprising if Ohio did only care about.
Yeah, you're right.
Money to the money I owe. It's like, okay, I feel like I get that. But swarm of bees. I mean, and after you walked with the spiders, now you're flying with the bees. Is there a plot to this album?
Maybe the spiders like killed the bees, freed him. There's definitely an insect theme.
They're not insects, they're arachnids.
It is very insect focused.
Spiders are not insects. Costa Rica is not in Spain.
Okay,
this is why education is so important.
I think just talking about all these choruses and all these lines, there was one thing that I cut from the initial video that I realized didn't make any sense. I was sort of complaining that all the choruses for all the songs are like I, verb, noun kind of thing. I don't want to be anyone's ghost. I don't want to sit here and die. I'm afraid of everyone. I'm a blah, 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 is like the rhythm and the thing of everyone. And then I cut it because I was like, wait a minute, isn't that like all songwriting in some sort of sense?
Our experience and things we want or don't want. Well, a lot of songs though are like, especially like love songs, are like, you are so great and he or she is so great and I love them or whatever. And I think a lot of their songs are very much related to like how I'm feeling, what I see, what I view, my experience. So maybe it just feels more like me centric.
Shouldn't the National be taking a grander approach, looking
I
at
guess
from a more worldly perspective?
But maybe because they are focusing more on the individual's experience, more people on a national scale can relate.
I said in the original video, which is what you took umbrage with to begin with, was that the National is a band that is your dad's or friend or your friend's dad's favorite band. And I didn't even realize at the time that dad rock is apparently a genre of music, and the National is often labeled as dad rock. Because I just assumed dad rock and yacht rock would be the same thing. And this definitely yacht rock.
Is that like what people listen to on yachts?
What?
Is that what people listen to on yachts?
Yacht rock is like Steely Dan is like the...
Oh, I love Steely Dan. I'm just a dad. I love Steely Dan.
But yacht rock and dad rock, I guess, are two separate...
I don't know. A lot of dads love Steely Dan, though, so...
That's true, I guess, but yacht rock is more like for yuppies.
Oh, okay.
I guess the National...
And dad rock's for like the cool dads?
I don't know. I mean, is the National for cool people?
I'm a little biased, but obviously I think so.
That's true. I guess you're the exception that proves the rule, or
maybe
that you're cool, but the rest of the fans of the National are not.
Musically, though, this band is so fascinating to me because it's not as obvious in this album, but like their time signatures make no sense, which is such a music person thing to say. But the lead singer,
that's the perspective we need. That's why we got to have guests come in that understand these things.
The lead singer doesn't play an instrument, is not like vocally trained, just like writes songs and brings them to the band, and they're like, well, okay. But like there's a song on Trouble Will Find Me that literally goes like 9/8, and then the next measure is like 7/8, and then the chorus is like 4/4, and I think there's a measure of like 5/4, and you're like, what is happening? And they just kind of go with it, and they're like, whatever, which is so weird, but I kind of love it. It just is like a very interesting musical thing to just be like, whatever, we're just gonna do what we want. Who cares?
That's interesting because you're saying from the musically minded person that it is almost experimental.
Yeah, kind of.
For me, I'm like, this is just regular yuppie dad rock music. Yeah,
it's so high level you don't even know.
Runaway is pretty interesting because this came out in 2010, and do you think they were sitting around and they're like, we're gonna have the best song called Runaway this year? And then we're completely blindsided by a different album that will be present much later down in the show.
It's possible. Last thing I was thinking about this when I was re-listening to the album today was, I don't know if you know the musician David Bazan. He was in a band. He's done some solo stuff, but he also was in a band called Page of the Lion. He's super fantastic, but kind of that same like monotone, low register stuff kind of gives me this National vibe. So I've never thought about that before, but the National has a much more like pop influence, whereas he has more of like a grunge 90s kind of alternative influence.
I would love a grunge song from.
Yeah, I think it could be good.
I don't know if any of their work is grunge in any sense, but I think they could really nail grunge. But they're like, let's go hang out with Taylor Swift, let's go win Grammy,
whatever.
So thank you for coming on, Rebekah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.